What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 7, Episode 16. And it's called Chapter 133, Stag.
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending of the podcast. We're going to go through our recap roundups and your recap roundups. So be sure to stick around for that.
As always, to our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode, yo.
Are you sure you want to get into it?
Do you?
You sure you want to do this podcast?
You sure about that? You sure about
that?
You sure about that?
You sure we can't just skip this one over?
Oh my god. Can we just skip to the end? So I'm assuming there were moments that I enjoyed.
Agreed. Yeah.
That I like laughed out loud at.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a flop for me. It's a flop.
I think you said it perfectly. There was moments that literally made me LOL.
Yeah.
Specifically the Archie and Reggie moments.
Archie Reggie stuff. Yeah,
I was
for
legit
sure.
cracking up. But I think they like took it too far at the end a little bit for me. And it sounds like the Twitter sphere is freaking the F out. We will get into that and all the reasons why. But overall, aside from that, I just feel like it was a weak episode. Like I was bored as shit. The Jughead scenes I was literally fast forwarding through. I was like, how are we not over this like comic book debacle? We've been doing this since episode 1.
Oh my god.
Now, NB's unleashing now, okay? Like
no, I was like, damn.
I have been quiet all fucking season. I have given you guys the benefit of the doubt. I have stood by you guys. I have honored your whatever this season
like
is.
Tone,
literally, you know me. Like
pacing.
I've been like, it's good, it's good, it's good. It's done now. You got 4 episodes left.
We're out.
You are still wasting so much time on dumbass shit. Wasn't there like a murder? Like, wasn't there like people dying? Are we not gonna like go back to that? Like, where's Ethel all of a sudden? Like, oh, she's just gone now?
That was her goodbye episode, last episode.
But was it? Like, they didn't even say, like, they didn't like say, like, okay, Ethel's gone now. They were just like, she won the pageant and like now she's like gone. So she's not even like on the comic book like
storyline at all.
Storyline. So she's off of that. Didn't realize that Veronica and Jughead were still a thing.
Girl.
It's just it literally
Veronica in episode 16. What the hell?
It just felt like there was all these scenes that were recorded throughout the whole season, and like they're just like, oh, let's put this one here, and let's put this one here, and this one here, and this one makes sense.
1,000,000% this felt like it could have been like the second episode.
Like, made no sense.
Yeah,
people.
I don't. None of this is leading up to anything.
Nothing.
And I think that is the biggest frustration.
Sorry.
Is that like we started off like this, like with some mystery, some this, there's a murderer, there was a milkman, this and this, like it started to flitter and we were like, okay, 50s, like let's get into it. And now we're 4 episodes away to the
finale.
end. And we're doing this.
So again, I will give them the benefit of the doubt because I watched episode twice today. I watched it the second time. When I rewatched it, I watched the Polly storyline again. And I was like, why are they like, first of all, why the fuck is Polly here right now? Like,
why is she
I'm
back?
sorry, like I love her and I loved her in this part, but like it came so late in the season where I'm like, whatever. Anyways, I'm listening to her talk and she's like, I got engaged and his name is will you be my maid of honor? I was like, why are we doing this though? Like you literally haven't called your sister all year. Like God knows, like she thinks that you're dead. Like you clearly don't have a relationship. Now you're asking her to be your maid. Why are they buying us into this like marriage storyline? Yeah. Then I really started to be like, wait, okay, I'm gonna give them something. Like, are they going to pit her and like Jason together in this realm? And then they're gonna have Juniper and Dagwood. And then that's going to be like the start of Riverdale again. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm like, maybe I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm really trying. I'm like reaching here.
You're grasping.
I'm really reaching and like trying
to
give the writers something because otherwise, J-Lag, I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
I don't know. It's just, I think you know what it feels like? It feels like the end of Game of Thrones, spoiler if you haven't seen it, but like, you know, the end is coming and you know it's gonna be bad and you're just like, Do I have to watch the rest of it? Really? Like, can we just stop
Yeah.
here? You know what I mean? And like, this is even obviously even worse than
This
Game of
is
Thrones
worse.
because
Yeah,
like
this
it's
is
Game of
worse.
Thrones. But like,
Yeah.
it just feels like what is going to be the point? I don't care what
Yeah.
the point is by the end of this, even if it is Jughead being like, I'm going to close this comic book from the 50s, the end. I would be like, why? Why did we get this in the final season of this entire show? You guys literally had so much time to think out something really, really well placed, and
don't
it
even
just
think
feels.
it out. Don't
It
even think
just
it that much.
doesn't feel right.
Don't
Like
even think it through. Just connect it. Percival coming in, different dimension. Tabitha
the
figures
end.
everything out. Boom, we're
Yeah.
back. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
have to be
Yeah,
like anything
legit.
rocket science. Like it could just be put the two pieces together. We're good. But
I just don't feel
just like I don't know where
happy
we're
about
going,
it.
guys.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
I
where we're
don't
going.
care. I don't care about sex education. Like, obviously it's important in high school, whatever. But that's not the point. That's not why I'm watching the show.
I
I'm
think they
35
took it
fucking
too
years
far.
old, bro.
You
Like,
know,
I don't
but
care.
Jay, like, I think they took it too far. Like, all that sexiness was cute and fun, and like, I love when they go in and out of it. But this episode was like, okay, like, you guys need to chill the fuck out. Like,
I just don't care about it, MB. Like, there's nothing
it's still a
about it
kid.
that,
It's a
like,
show about
even if I was a
teenagers.
teenager, even if I was 17 years old watching this for the first time, binged it from season one
Totally,
all the way up into
yeah.
here, I would watch this and be like, why am I watching this? Like, there's no point to it. Like,
And someone,
I'm not learning anything new.
and
This is all stuff from the fucking 50s. I don't give a shit. This is not a history lesson.
and not even that. It's like you
So I
built
agree.
up these. I know we like came in like guns a blazing. We built up these characters. Forget even the other 6 seasons. I'm talking about this season.
Yeah.
You built up Archie and Betty. You built up even Veronica and Jughead. So just leave them literally like boom here for 10 episodes. We get nothing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Archie goes and loses his V card from like with like a fucking whole bag stripper. Like it's just like why wouldn't you just like why wouldn't you just follow through on one of those storylines? Like
one of them.
even if it's not with Betty, even if it's with Veronica, like, switch it up, do something different. But like, why did you have to go like that route? Like it doesn't. There is no connection for us as the audience because she's just Twyla Twist. Like we don't care about her, and it's not funny. It's not like entertaining. Like it's just weird.
I can't wait to get into this episode with you because we are clearly heated. I
just don't get their rationale. Like it doesn't need to be this like
sense.
complex storyline. It had to just be simple, guys. And sorry if one of the ships were going to be mad. Who cares? Who cares? They'll survive.
Yeah. Like I none of the choices that they made.
It was so weird.
They don't make any sense. Okay, let's get into the episode. Let's try to like breathe through it.
Yeah.
I know I do. Okay. Starts off in Riverdale High. Grundy. Even this part. Oh my god. Like fuck this show.
You know what annoys me is because I protected
Grundy's
the show
like getting
for so many weeks. Like everyone was popping off, being like,
"You feel betrayed."
Grundy's gonna come. I'm like, no, guys. Like it's gonna be different this time. Like they're gonna do it right.
Yeah. I mean, they did still to a degree, but did we need the extra looks from like her and Archie? Like, no, we didn't need that. But they're talking about like, obviously, like salacious stuff. At least he's in like a poetry club. It's not just her and him.
Bro, can you imagine in high school you took a poetry class with Miss Thing and she's like, you need to go and have like things with other people and some crazy
experience.
Like she would have never connected poetry to that at that age. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? Like maybe later in college if you were taking like this like master class of poetry, okay, but like a junior in high school, your teacher's never going to say that to you about poetry. It just was another reach that I was like, I don't get why you're trying to over-sexualize this moment here.
I think it was, I mean, I didn't even really find it out of place. It was more just like, why are we watching this? Like, why do we even care about Grundy? Why do we even care about the poetry? Like, I don't know. I just didn't care.
But they're trying to tie that in through the poetry.
Right. And
it's like, but then, okay, then why are you using Grundy?
I don't know. Anyway,
there's so many whys. I don't know.
So many whys. So she's reading this poem called Howl. It's this meeting. Clay basically explains like the beats to Archie, which are basically a bunch of poets who were free thinkers. They like thought outside of the box and lived their lives outside of the box. A lot of them like had sex with each other and whatever. They were having a good time. And Archie was like, whoa, that's so crazy. Like, this kid's just like sitting there, like absorbing all this new information. But it's him, Clay, and Betty, like in this class, like this little meeting.
Just the three of them.
Sounds good. Cool. Whatever. Then it cuts to outside Riverdale High. Lizzo, Cheryl, and Tony are out front. Lizzo shows them a lesbian magazine, and Tony asks to keep it because she wants to look at it with her girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, cool. Random again, Lizzo, like, who are you? Then it cuts to the locker rooms, and Julian announces that he has a Stag film he got from his buddy at Stonewall, and he invites all the boys to watch this at his place. But then he goes and asks Kevin and Clay for a projector.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys work at the cinema, go get a projector for us, and like we can all go to do it together. So everyone's getting excited. You can tell that even Archie and Reggie are excited about it.
This was cute. Like, I was like in front. I'm like, okay, cute. They're gonna be up to some shenanigans. Like, let's go. Yeah.
Shenanigans, porn, cool. Yeah. Also, like, but I don't care about porn. But anyway, so then it cuts to Pep Comics. I bought it though. Yeah. Yeah, I went with it for sure. So then it cuts to Pep Comics. Everyone is like, it's a ghost town. Jughead walks in and he's like, Mr. Fieldstone, what's going on? Like, where is everybody? Then it turns out that apparently Mr. Werther's, the principal, wants to do this comic book code, essentially, to censor comics. There's like all these rules that they have to follow. And Mr. Fieldstone's like, no, I've already done this. I'm not down to like deal with like this socialist bullshit. Like we're gonna like push against this. They're gonna have a meeting to set up, and Jughead is going to join Mr. Fieldstone at this meeting. Mm-hmm. Jughead's like, cool, I'll be there. Then it cuts to dark room, and Cheryl and Tony are going through the magazine, and I forget who asked, but basically they're like, why don't we do our own like pinup photo shoot? Yeah. Like, cute little photo shoot, and we can do it at Thornhill Chapel because like no one ever goes in there. My family doesn't pray, so we'll do it in there. Mm-hmm. She's like, cool. Like, going through this because like none of it to me, and I'm just like going through it. But anyway, like I just like as I'm reading this, I'm just like, okay, and then like that's how I feel about the episode. Like I'm not even getting excited to talk to you about this. Yeah. And the scenes that I want to talk to you about, I'm gonna just get upset about. So anyway, we'll just get through it. But so anyway, they want to do the pinup. Cool. Like even CHONI couldn't save me from this episode. Like even them.
I'm glad you said that because I couldn't. There were moments where I was like, okay, CHONI's the one thing that's like holding it.
CHONI.
But it was kind of just like fanfare. Like it wasn't, again, it just wasn't going.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was fan service, for sure.
I feel like we've done this before with them.
We have. And it just, anyway. So then it cuts to, like, and then why are we doing pinup photo shoots with like underage girls? Like, I never understand, like, when they go that, but like, it just gets too much. So then
it's funny.
It cuts to the Babylonian.
Sorry, before you get into that, it's funny because when I watched it the second time, I noticed that Cheryl says something. Did you notice what she says?
After, like, when she asked her, like, oh, do you want to like post these pictures? And she's like, why don't we do it after we graduate?
Yeah, I noticed because I didn't notice it the first time, and I was like, okay, like, thank you for saying that because like let's reel it in right now.
Like,
you're
who
underage.
Does that? Yeah, like no one would do that.
Yeah,
that's literally like child pornography. At that point. Anyway, so like we'll get into that after. Just like sighs. Then it cuts to the Babylonium, and Veronica sees Clay and Kevin basically try to sneak out with this mini projector, and they have to tell her like, oh, this is what's happening. Julian has this film, and Veronica has a business idea. Well, not a business idea, but she has an idea, and she goes, well, why don't I get everybody to shoot, like, watch it at the Babylonium? They can all come here and watch it. We can screen it. But the only stipulation is I can bring a friend. Mm-hmm. So he agrees and whatever. Then they go on to do that. Then before it cuts to the Babylonium again, it cuts to the Thornhill Chapel, and they're doing this photo shoot. Mm-hmm. So photo shoot, what do you think?
I mean, I love seeing them together. The chemistry's great. But overall, again, it's just not driving any sort of storyline in the show. So like I'm kind of watching it, I'm like, great, cool. Again, but overall, it's not really pulling me forward in terms of like what's actually happening in the overall season and where we are.
Yeah, it really did just feel like CHONI fan service, just to show them like
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
together. But it wasn't even, I don't know, there were like the fact that the purpose was a photo shoot, I was like, I don't really care for this. Like it didn't even really make sense because like I'd get it if Tony was like a photographer and she was like she always had a camera on or something.
Let's talk about that, okay? Do you know how hard it is to take a photo? It was so hard to take photos in like grade 11 photography in like 2005. Yeah. I can't imagine how hard to take a freaking photo in 1956. In the 50s. Okay? Tony was like pulling up that camera like she freaking knew what the hell she was doing. She's like, right? She put the like, timer on, rolling it up and like,
shit. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
girl, do you have like a degree in this? Like that shit's hard.
That is hard, yeah. So I was like, I don't. Anyway, that's what I mean. Cheryl, there's no connection anywhere. No like connection. They're just like, we'll just do a pinup photo shoot. Find this
camera here and we'll do our own pinup. I did like how Cheryl was like, oh, I'll paint us after, but like that was painting it because from the photo. So I was like, okay,
from the photo, yeah. Like you're not even asking her to model it for you, and just like, well, you know what I mean? Like then the mom walks in or something crazy. Like it was just like, I'll do this photo and then I'll paint it and then my mom will catch me after. I'm like, what? So anyway, then it cuts it back to the Babylonium and everyone shows up for the film. Betty comes along and she sits in the movie. They start playing it. It's called, what was it called? The wedding night or something like that? Wedding night?
Yeah.
So everyone's excited. It shows like the bride and she like takes off her veil and then she like comes out from around the corner and it's Polly undressing and then Betty's like, stop the film, that's my sister. Love how,
like nobody else knew that it was Paul. Like wouldn't Archie know that it's Polly?
Yeah,
like, he would know.
I know. I'm like, do you not remember? He's like, huh?
Yeah, she's like, that's my sister. Like no one else knows what her sister looks like.
She's like, oh no, were you gagged? Like, did you like, no, I feel like were you surprised?
Knew that was gonna happen, right?
I feel like we knew. I feel like maybe somebody told us. Yeah.
And like we know Polly, like she's not up there selling like Bible books around the country. Like this girl is like
exactly.
She's doing something like, you know,
something different. Something just different.
Something racy.
Something racy and fun. So then so afterward, her and Veronica talk, and Betty thinks that she's on Broadway. Because Veronica's like, so like, what is your sister doing? And Betty's like, my sister's been on Broadway. Like, I can't believe this film is out there. Basically, Veronica says, you should just call up your sister. Like, let's see, like, what's her story. So she does. She calls her and then she like invites her to come into town and they meet later. Then it cuts to Riverdale High. Tony's developing those photos. Did you get like a flashback of the dark room? Like just getting the photos all set up and ready to go. Then it cuts to the locker room and Julian watched another film and he's offering the projector and the film to Reggie and Archie for $2. He's like, you can borrow this film. It was really good.
I thought really like cool. Archie and Reggie were hilarious. This entire time, they're just so eager. Like they're so like, horny. They just want to like watch another film. And that energy was hilarious. And it really was carrying the episode for me because I wanted to see what they were going to get into next. I didn't know where it was going, but I'm like, they're so funny on screen that it's actually fun to watch, you know?
Right. Yeah. They made fun of like a possibly awkward situation because really on both sides of it, right? Like the girls and the boys are all underage. They're all high school students. We're all watching these sexual things. Not that I'm like seven seasons in now becoming this like moralist or anything, but like it's so obvious this season because every friggin' episode is about sex. Like they make it so like it's in the literal like lesson plan of the episode.
I don't know why they went so hard.
They like hard tilted on like sex and like the restrictions of sex and the like all that stuff. And I'm just like,
I just don't get why like at this point like Archie just didn't fuck Betty. Like do you know what I'm trying to say? Like he's acting so horny and he's like, oh my god, I gotta watch it. Like go fuck your neighbor. Like
but he's still like an innocent Archie, I guess.
Peep show,
like,
So go finish the job. So that's what I don't understand why they shouldn't take it all the way in that regard, but like they went this way with like him watching films and like just being horny.
But I guess he's like an innocent boy. I get that because like that is usually like the first like destination.
He already did a peep show with her.
I know, that's true. But then, like, and that's the thing, like, to your point, they dropped the whole BARCHIE storyline, like, weeks ago. So, like, do they even like each other? Like,
even the
is
VARCHIE
Betty a lesbian? Dropped. Like, we don't know.
Even
like,
VARCHie. Remember when VARCHie had that tiny little moment? They dropped that. Like, everything was dropped.
That's so true. They totally dropped VARCHIE, too.
Yeah.
What?
I swear, guys, it feels like they filmed these like
Whiplash.
Earlier on, and then there was like, oh, let's put that into this episode and make it about this.
But they like just don't lead up to anything.
I
like,
know. I know. This episode is gonna be so unhinged. Like I can't. Like.
Oh my god. Anyway, so then that happens. Betty tells Veronica about the call that she has. Polly's gonna come into town to talk to her. It turns out that Polly does burlesque. And I love this because this is like the best freaking drag name of all time. Her stage name is Polyamorous, which is like the best name ever. I died. And then Veronica's like, oh my God, I know Polyamorous. I know that name. I've never seen her before, but like I know of her. And she's like, maybe she'll perform at the Babylonian when she comes into town. Like she's just like very excited about it. Cool. What do you think about the situation? Like you're just
again, like Veronica has never mentioned one word about burlesque.
Never.
The entire time, and now she's like the biggest hype girl. Like I'm like, since when were you obsessed? Like,
she's like, it's an art form. It's truly an art form. She like knew everything about burlesque.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was cute. I thought the Veronica, Polly, Betty like threesome was really cute. But like again. I could deep dive into this whole Polly storyline. I'm not going to do that right now.
No.
It didn't make any sense to me. Betty was like, I got your number from mom and dad. Okay, so why wouldn't you have called your sister from before?
Yeah.
For like a year. Like, call her and just say, hey, are you in New York? Okay, cool. Click. Like, that's it.
That's the
none of this makes sense. And they just don't connect dots. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't.
They just make it seem like she died. Like she like literally like ran away from home and like they never heard from her again. And I'm like, to your point, like why would that relationship mess up like Betty's relationship with her? Like
Polly
Betty never did anything wrong. Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like as an older sister, like just send her and be like, I'm good, sis. Like I'm doing my job. Maybe she doesn't say what it is, but she's like, I'm good. Like you disappeared.
Like nothing.
Like, yeah.
Anyway, whatever. She's like, maybe she'll perform in the Babylonian. Cool. Then Tony shows Cheryl the pictures from the photo shoot. Cheryl's like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. I love them so much. I'm going to paint this one. And Tony, I think at this point in time is what she said, where she's like, oh, there's also like an opening for a magazine. Like we can put them into the magazine. And that's when Cheryl's like, let's just paint one for now. Mm-hmm. No big deal. And let's just have fun with it. I'm only saying that because I feel like it's going to come up next episode. Then it cuts to the Babylonium and Jughead is talking to Veronica about this like comic book code and essentially just asks for her like business help. Like what can she do about the situation? And basically Veronica says he should make a counter proposal. Mm-hmm. Like this is not like essentially she's like this is not like a law. You should just like say what you want and what you don't want, right? Why were you laughing?
Yeah. Because like he's like, that's an amazing idea, Veronica. Like, did your millionaire editor of the newspaper not know that he can counter ask? You had to go to a 16-year-old girl to ask her.
She's like, interesting. Ask them for more information.
Yeah.
And he's
like, let me write that down.
He's like, wow, you're a genius. Okay. Oh my God. So true. There was like no reason for it.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love when Veronica can like show her skill set, but like
this was not a skill set. This was her telling her
you have an owner of the company. Like he would know to do that. Like
exactly. Okay, anyway. And she's not even a lawyer. Like how would she like why would she even know any of this?
But like I guess because she knows business.
But it's not anyway.
I know.
It doesn't make any sense. So then it cuts to Pop's diner, and Betty and Polly meet for the first time in like, I don't know, years, I guess.
Yeah.
Betty gives Polly the film back. Polly's like, oh my God, I thought I got all the copies. Turns out she was essentially like, she was like right out of high school. She was basically tricked into doing it.
Yeah.
And Polly explains like her career. She's like, yes, I'm a burlesque dancer. Mom and dad know about it. They actually like watched one of my shows, but they left like within the first 5 minutes of it. And ever since then, Alice has gone on to lie and basically say that she's been on like Broadway. Like, so Polly's like, okay, since she lied about me, like I essentially like assume that like mom like disowned me. Like she doesn't care about me anymore. And then Polly says she's like staying nearby. Like, why don't we just hang out? Like, I don't have to go back into this forever, like really quickly. And Betty's like, ooh, like I want you to actually introduce you to like one of your biggest fans. So what did you think of this like first like meeting between Betty and Polly?
I didn't
like,
hate
it. Like, were you like, oh my God, sisters?
Yeah, like I didn't hate it. I was really trying, guys. Like I was really, really trying to like hold on to something.
Okay, I like this.
But again, like I just didn't understand it. You're two sisters. Like you could have written her a letter. You could have just called her once throughout the season to be like, I'm good, Betty. Like, don't worry about me. Like, unless she did. Am I missing something? Did she do that?
No, but like to your point, she could have even said something like, yeah, in your last letter you never mentioned
or like
XYZ.
Mom,
you know what I mean? Like
maybe
so
it came out that like Polly wrote her, but like Alice always hid the letters.
Ooh, see, that would have been good too.
Right? Because then I would have been like,
drama.
At least she tried to reach out to her sister, you know? Like she tried. Like you went.
She's like, I wrote you, but you never wrote me back.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I never got those letters.
Exactly. Like
that would have been good.
Done. I figured that out for you guys.
Writers.
Right. So
honestly,
I wasn't buying into like that like lovely sister relationship because that's not what they have clearly. But I was also at this point like waiting to see what's gonna happen. I'm like, okay, maybe like Polly's gonna be the thing that brings Alice and Betty together. I was wrong about that too.
Which, yeah, can't wait to talk about that. Anyway, so then that happens. Then it cuts to the Pembroke, and Veronica's like, "Oh my God, I'm such a fan." Polly goes on to talk about the fact that she's like engaged, which to your point, like, did not care. Who cared? Why? Why
they
were
said
you
his name? I'm like, I don't care about his name. So that's why I'm like, are they leading to something? Like, are they gonna show us that he's the guy? But I don't think she's gonna be in the episode next week. Like Josie's next week, and
oh, is she? Oh my God! I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. So that's the thing. Like for someone to just like jump in to be like, I'm engaged. You want to be my maid of honor?
Like
why? Episode 16 of a final season. Like,
do you understand what I'm saying though? Like, why were they even mentioning a wedding if like we're not gonna like see the wedding or like
we're not gonna see the wedding? We're not gonna see this like future state of anything. Like, I don't fucking get it. So then it cuts to Veronica. Ooh, I may have a theory actually now that I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna say it right now because I don't care.
Yeah, say it.
So you know how that they mentioned that there was a setup for the comet to come back around. I think I mentioned it last episode, right?
Yeah.
Like Bailey's comet.
Yeah.
It's not happening right now. It's happening like either a year or 2
like
years from now, whatever. Yeah. So let's say it's 2 years from now. Maybe we'll in the final episode, because we know that we're not leaving the 50s, that will be like the last thing that we see, like a little bit of a fast forward in the 50s where we see her now with like Dagwood and Juniper, and maybe you're right, maybe we do see Jason, maybe all these like some of these future state things we see in that final scene, the comet comes by and then they're all, I don't know, back in the real world, or who freaking knows if we're ever gonna see them in normal clothes again, who knows. But like, I don't know, maybe they're like, to your point, like why set it up? Like that's pretty monumental. Like I'm getting married. Like why even bring that up? Like why can't you just be like in and out? Like it's not even.
And like when you look at the start of Riverdale, it really was the start of Polly, Jason, and their unborn children. Like that kind of was the whole thing of season 1. So
that's
it
really
would
good point,
be cool to sort of like connect those two things at the end.
It would be smart, wouldn't it? It would be
smart, but
it'd be pretty intelligent of them to like put it all together like that. Do you think they're gonna do that? No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll see. So she asked Betty to be the maid of honor. Betty's like, "Oh my, I'm
Of
like,"
course.
she was like, "Wow, like I just didn't even know that you were gonna invite me." And like Polly's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, obviously I was gonna invite you," but like Betty's basically like,
She didn't
"But you
sell
never
it
even
though
talked to
good.
me." Like
She's like, I hope I was gonna come to your wedding. She's like, yeah,
she's like,
sure you were.
yeah, she's
I
like,
was like, girl, you're
Totally,
not a good liar.
yes." Yes, right away. I need to call my husband like right now and just be like, "Hey, like add a +1 right now."
By the way, yeah.
By the way, my sister's coming. So anyway, whatever. That random storyline happens, and then Veronica at the end, very end of it, asks if she can perform, and Polly agrees. Like perform in town. She's like, "Cool, sounds good."
I will say right here, like shout out to Veronica for always finding a way that
To
even though
make
the
everything a
episode,
business
yeah, and
thing.
like the episode was not about her at all, but she still found ways to like be a part of the main storyline and to like
Yeah, yeah,
facilitate
yeah.
it and to like push it forward. Even
Very
though
true.
she's not in it, she's like pushing it. So I thought
What
that was really cool. Like,
what actually kills me is like to your point. In this exact moment, she goes, "I wouldn't be Veronica Lodge if I didn't ask, but can you
yeah,
do this?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like
yeah,
she's
yeah,
at least
yeah,
calling herself out to be like,
totally,
"I know I'm a business lady, so I'm a
yeah,
wolf of Wall Street."
yeah,
So yeah, no, it's true. She kind of just like put herself in there, like, get it, girl.
yeah.
So then it cuts to Archie's garage. The funniest scene in the entire episode.
Dead.
Reggie and Archie are getting ready to watch this film. They're so excited. They're sitting there. But then it shows like a guy rolling up and then another guy rolling
Another
up.
guy, and then Archie's like, and Archie was hilarious. He's like, huh? He's like looking at the like the label on the tape. He's like,
I
did I get the right
died.
tape?
Yeah.
And then he's like, what is this film? And then I think Reggie, he's like, maybe the girl's like coming.
He's like, the girls are
she's
gonna come
now.
later.
And he's like, oh yeah, 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 true, 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 true.
But
But like
then
they're
it's just
getting
like,
like more excited like as they're watching it.
yeah. Then they're watching it and then it's just like wrestling and they're like, is this the stuff that like they were saying what
Kevin
Clay and Kevin watch? And he's like, yeah, this isn't right. Like, oh, that stupid Julian or whatever. He's pissed
Yeah.
off. And then he's like,
Now they
we
realize
should
that,
turn
like,
this off.
yeah, yeah.
Right? Should we turn it off?
And then Reggie's like, let's
I
keep
died.
watching. I was
I
dying. It was so
freaking
funny.
died. He's like, yeah, we totally should turn this off. But let's just keep watching. So then
Yeah.
they keep watching it. It was freaking the way they set the whole thing up, the way that like they lined it all up. It was so funny.
It's them too, right? Like KJ and Charles, like they have such great chemistry together that like they make it so funny.
And we've always said, I mean, the joke is like episodes ago when they were wrestling in the room, I was like, take your clothes off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kiss. So I just thought it was funny that they like leaned into that. I'm like, basically, this is like RAS is like probably like fantasy at this point.
I was just gonna say it.
I'm like, he just wanted to do that and get them to like kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking hilarious scene. I died. And then it cuts to the Cheryl painting, or not the Cheryl painting, but Cheryl painting this like whatever portrait.
Yeah.
Then it cuts back to Archie and Reggie. And at this point, they're basically like stunned in their beds, like just like laying there, like looking at the ceiling. And they're like, what I loved is one of the things that Archie says, he's like, maybe there's like an in-between, like a little wiggle room to explore.
Because I think Reggie
like
was like, do they like guys? Are they like Kevin and Clay? Are, you know, and he's like, what if there's like an in-between area where like you just kind of explore both?
Yeah, yeah. I was I love that.
It was written was very like, it wasn't so on the nose, but it was kind of dancing around it. And I thought it was well written. It was a really well written scene.
You said it perfectly. Like it didn't feel like it was like so like in your face, like, oh, we're just trying to be progressive.
Yeah.
It was very like what guys would probably say if they were like open to that kind of conversation, right? Like you're exploring your bodies, like just kiss. It's not a big deal. Anyway, it's really, really funny. As they continue to talk about it, they keep getting more and more it, and they're both like, we need to take cold showers. You go first, I'll go next.
Yeah.
Like I just died. Like so even funny. The fact that they were like, we need to take cold showers, you go first. Like they were like, let's do it together.
Oh, wait, you go first.
I was just like so freaking funny. Like to your point, like the way that they acted it out, like KJ and Charles, like
because it's timing, right? Like you can't write timing, and like their comedic timing with each other is on point. Like it's so good.
Yeah. Like I would watch one of those like 21 Jump Streets, like if it was the two of them, like
yeah,
as co-stars. That'd be funny. Anyway, then it cuts to Riverdale. The next morning at the boys' lockers, Reggie basically like shoves Julian to the side and is like, give me my money back. Like, you gave us a gay film. And then Julian says, like, actually, I have another one. I'll give it to you for free. So sorry about that. I thought you guys like would have liked it. He even like jokes about the fact that like, don't you guys like love each other or something? And I was like, it was just funny just even watching that scene. And then he's like, I have this other film that's 2 girls, 1 guy. I'll give it to you guys for free. So he's like, okay, cool. Then it cuts to the girls' lockers. And then Veronica tells all the girls we're doing a ladies' night to watch Polyamorous.
I thought it was cute. I love how she rallied, and I love how it was like a girls' night. I also loved how like she's like, who's in? And like Tony was like, me, and like Cheryl was like waiting for Tony she's like, yeah, me too. Like I thought like samesies. So cute. Yeah.
No, so all the girls are ready to go. Then it cuts to Jughead and Fieldstone talking to the nun, Werther's, Mayor, Featherhead, like they're all having like the little meeting.
J-Lag, this scene went on for so long. I like, literally zoned out. I zoned out. I zoned back into reality. I was like, this scene is still going on.
Like, it was so annoying. It was so anyway, the gist of it essentially is summarize. They're pushing in on the rules. They're like, no, we don't like this rule. This rule doesn't make any sense. Your shit is too vague. And Jughead and Fieldstone basically say like, why do we have a rating system? Like T is for teens, K is for kids. And they're basically like, this is not a negotiation. We're just like telling you what the rules are. You guys are the last comic books that are agreeing to this. So you either get on board or you're never getting it published again, essentially. But that also doesn't make any sense to me because I'm like, do you guys run all of like the comic books of the world? Like,
no, you don't.
You don't. And why would anybody like, why are they the only ones who push back? Like, you think that the comic book, like, it's so annoying because not to make any sense of it, something that doesn't make any sense, but Fieldstone is always like, let me talk to the other publishers. Let me talk to the other like episodes and episodes ago. He's always like, I'm going to go talk to everyone else and see what they're doing. Are you guys not getting together to like push back on this shit? Like, are you guys the only ones that are making zombie comics? Like, I don't get
it.
I don't get why there was like they were the only ones that were gonna like stop them from.
Pep Comics could just leave Riverdale, go to New York, and just continue doing comic books.
That's what I mean. But he's like, you're never gonna be on any new set in all of America. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you don't have that kind of power. What some bullshit is that? Anyway, I hate the storyline. I don't want it. I don't want this.
I liked it in the beginning because I saw what they were trying to do with it, but like I wanted it wrapped up by now. Like, get to the answer.
This doesn't,
and
get to the answer. That's what I mean. Like, is that the point of this whole show? Is it like Archie comics, the restriction on comics and how it means this like deep seated meaning? If you like lose comics, you lose like this and this. Like, I don't care for that. Like, that's not what I want for this finale. Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever. Then it cuts to the poetry huddle, second poetry huddle. Archie basically doesn't think that he's ever going to be able to write poetry because, or like Howl, the poem, because he doesn't really have any life experiences. I'm like, yeah, because you're a fucking square.
He was so, he's like, look at me, I'm like a square.
I'm a full square. What am I going to do with my life?
He's so cute.
And then, Betty basically, she has this like weird moment where she's like, the poem helped me ask questions that need to be answered. I was like, okay.
What?
Like Grundy was like Clay, answering for her.
Even Clay was like, you should try with other people, like 2 people or 3. I was like, where are you guys getting this from? Like, how is that your advice to him right now? Like,
I just didn't really get the point. Like, was it just to push him? I guess it's to push him to the end of the episode, right? Like, but why did he need to do this in a poetry? Like, to your point, like, why do you have to do it in a poetry class?
Why does Clay think it's appropriate in front of a teacher to say that? Like, in the 1950s.
In the 1950s. But also, like, why was Betty there? Like, she didn't even seem like she was receptive to it. Like, was she like, ooh, a threesome? You know what I mean? Like, I would get it if, like, Betty, like,
100%.
Was like, to your point, like, was, like, Betty and Archie that them back together and they're like, ooh, like, should we try this together?
Yeah,
You meet Veronica, like, what's the dealio?
Yeah.
But like Betty was like off, like thinking about something completely different.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Betty, then it cuts back to the Cooper residence. Betty asks Alice if she wants to come to the burlesque show. Alice is like very surprised because she's like, oh my God, Polly's like in town. And Betty's like, yeah, she's like living her best life. She's engaged. And she says something along the lines of like, coming could be the best chance we have to be a family again. Alice is like, no, I'm not coming. That's like not my thing. And then she's like, why are you watching that show like for all the perverts? And like Betty's like, no, it's all for just like the women of like it's all just girls. It's not like weird perverts watching the show. And even then, like Alice is like, no. And then Betty says, I'm proud of Polly and I want to show that I support her, unlike her mother. So again, Alice is like,
she's like taking
fucking
shots.
Stick in the mud. And like, I know you mentioned it last episode too, this whole idea that like, are we done with Alice? But we got Alice back again.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised.
Like they're still leaning in. I mean, like I said, like she needs more redemption. So I was hoping for more redemption, but all we got were like more reasons to hate her. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, we kind of get more answers, right?
Do we?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the things that I mentioned too, like maybe Polly is the reason why Alice is the way that she is, right?
Yeah. Well, at one point, it looks like Alice like kept all of Polly's like all of like the show cards, I guess. Like that's what it looked like, that, right? Like,
yeah,
she was collecting them, and a part of me was like, is she collecting them to like just stare at them and be mad, or like is she collecting them because like she's actually proud of Polly?
She's like sad, like low key sad and proud of her,
but like still proud of like, wow, my kid's doing something. I just can't be like showing off because like it's embarrassing a little bit.
Right.
I didn't know how to take that, like, because they didn't really like go into that deeper
because they were singing over it. That's why.
Yeah, and again, I think we're 4 episodes out. Are we ever gonna get that character development from Alice? I don't think so.
Probably.
So it's like, why are we going even deeper now?
To your point, like, are we gonna get it at this point? Like, maybe it's possible.
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna go lean in on this hard, then maybe. But do I care? We're 3 episodes away to the end. Like, do I care about like Betty and Alice's relationship? I mean, there's nothing else to care about.
I think I would have cared about it if it sort of leaned into other parts of the season, like, you know, the dads being over controlling and the dads controlling all these things with their children, and like the moms revolting, or like Alice revolting and being like, no, I love my daughters, they're fine, I'm gonna let them be like who they want to be. But like, it doesn't seem like we've gotten there, or we're getting there like really, really late, and I'm not down for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. We'll see. So then it cuts to Archie's garage. Here they are trying to watch the second film again, and it is what Julian was saying. It's like a guy and 2 girls, and they're like eating dinner. They're about to like get all horned up or whatever. But then the film starts to burn. First question for you: do you think Julian did that on purpose? Do you think like he like stuck the film?
I thought that too, but then it didn't go anywhere after that. So I was like, oh, he probably just
doesn't really matter. Yeah.
And don't forget, like at that time, like if you want to be real, like those films were so sensitive. Like
so sensitive. That shit happened to me in class once.
Like you watched it once and like it could be destroyed because like the film is so sensitive. So it probably wasn't like, it's a normal thing in that time for like film to, you know,
to burn
and
and it's really, really funny because basically at one point after it burns, Reggie like screams, I'm horny as heck, like so just out of nowhere.
Like, I didn't hear him at first. I had to go back, and then like he's like, I'm horny as heck. I'm like, oh my god.
It's like, geez,
you actually said that. Yeah,
you actually said it out loud. And then Archie's like, I have an idea.
And even Archie was like, me too. And he's
like
looking down. I'm like, oh my god.
He's like, what are you guys gonna do? But okay,
what did you think in this moment? Like, what did you think they were gonna do?
Okay, in my mind, and also just like based on what happened last scene with them too, like just jerk each other off. Like, yeah. I don't know. Like, what's the big deal?
I thought they were gonna like go and try to fuck Betty.
Just like tag team her? girl.
Or like find someone that they know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
not go to a freaking hooker.
No, I fully didn't think that they were gonna go see Twyla 100%.
Like, at all.
When he said like, oh, it's just gonna be a little weird, and it's gonna be like a little bit like off the cuff.
That's why I was like, oh, he's gonna go call Betty. Like, then it's gonna get weird.
I thought he was just gonna be like, let's just like fucking jerk each other off, because that is what guys do. The guys do that all the time. Yeah, no,
you're right. You're right.
But like that seems like the easiest thing. He's like, no. And like, we're talking about Archie Andrews. We're not talking about like some random person who like does that. Like, we're not talking about Julian, who's like, oh, I'm gonna go like have sex with a hooker because I'm horny.
Yeah,
like he's already done that. Archie literally like tried to save Kevin from Twyla like episodes ago. Literally. So for him to be like, let's do something crazy because I'm just feeling really, really horny, I want to stick it in something. Like, you're gonna go to like, I just don't get it. Just fucking jerk each other off.
About this scene with you though.
I can't. First of all, I can't believe we're talking about this in the first place, because like this is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, they get to Twyla, and Twyla's like, oh, hey, boys, you want to like come in, or do you want to like one at a time, or like both of you?
What I thought was going to happen was, once they got to her place, I was like, what the is going on? Yeah, I really thought like she would open the door and then they would go in and he'd be like, nah, like let's not.
I gotta do this.
Yeah, like I really thought it was, and then like the scene just cut, and I'm like, did I miss something? And then like we started after the commercial. I was like, did I miss something? I'm like, did they actually do this?
They did it. They did the damn thing, literally. I don't know. How did people feel about this scene? Like, was it?
Oh no, people were getting rioting on Twitter. Rioting.
Shit.
Okay.
Oh god.
Because the way they're looking at it, and they're right, that you guys took Archie's V card by making his teacher F him, okay? An adult to a child.
Like in the original
timeline. And this time they were like, this time it's gonna be better. They're gonna get retribution. Like, Grundy's not gonna do that to him. But now you have him going to a hooker. He's still underage. Technically, it's, you know, it is that.
Yeah.
And it's not right.
It doesn't make sense. They should have just jerked each other off.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Do I see it to that severity as like people are seeing it? I don't. I get what they're saying though. Like, it is true. Like, he had another interaction with an older female the first time. Why are you doing that again a second time?
Right.
Like, why don't you just give him like a normal experience with like someone his age? And someone that he knows, like, and to me, that's what I just don't get. As the writer sitting in that writer's room, why the fuck did you guys say we're gonna have him have a threesome with a hooker?
And I'm gonna soapbox this really, really quickly. Just really quickly. I'm just gonna say this real fast, and I want to know what people say when I say this in our comments and like in our chat when we post this. But I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is. And I might get in a lot of trouble for this, but like, I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, like internalized homophobia that comes from how the creators of the show, I'm not going to say anybody specifically, but you know who I mean, like depict homosexuality in the show. And it comes off as, yes, we have the lovely moments, and we have had a lot of lovely moments with Kevin and Clay this season only, final season, by the way. Yep. But along the way, we've had Kevin get into like some really sexually depraved shit. He's always getting into some bad trouble. It's always like this bad, taboo, horrible, like not a good thing. It never feels good to be gay in Riverdale. Like, CHONI gets so celebrated, and not to pit them against each other, but like when you look at how both of those experiences are shown and portrayed, it becomes so like shameful to be gay, and like there's so many bad things that come with it. And like, not that like I'm joking about it, like why don't they just jerk each other off? But like, when you really think about it, why didn't they make that switch? Why did they have to send him to a hooker? Because it's like the heteronormative thing. Like, literally a scene ago, he was talking about people exploring. Were they worried that they were not going to get on air and finish the episode if like they had a homoerotic experience with each other as straight men? Like, why is there so much shame around like gay sex in this show? Like, I don't get it. And I'm like, you guys got this far. You literally got this far with it. You even joked about it literally scenes ago, and now you're like, no, no, no. But they don't do that. They go to a hooker and they fucking lose their B cards
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Like, I
And also like what do they do with Twyla? Did one of them just sit on in one side of the room and the
and
other
that's
one
what I
like they
mean.
obviously
Like,
did stuff together too with her.
but then why couldn't they just do it together?
Exactly.
It just makes more sense. If I was, and I just don't know why they were like, no, 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 we have to put a woman in there. It has to be like straight. Archie's definitely straight. They're not going to make this whole gay thing about like,
I don't know.
why?
I
What was
also
the
think
outrage
like
that you were worried about? It's season 7. You guys already fucked this show up real hard like
yeah.
seasons ago.
People are really pissed about this and people are like this show's fucked. Like this show is like you guys should have written the like right the wrong and you didn't do
Yeah,
that.
you didn't do
You
that.
made it literally worse.
Worse.
Worse. To me, and to your point, what you're saying was like I agree with you. To me, and I could be wrong about this, but it always seems like Kevin's um his sort of thing because he's horny because he just wants to like fuck
Right.
someone. But
Yeah.
Shoni is like romance and
Love.
and like
Yeah.
sexual desire. It's like, okay, why don't you wrap that same bowl with like Kevin and his partner? Like it
With gay
doesn't seem like that.
relationships.
Like it always just seems like because he's so horny, he just wants like bang something, and
Right.
that's not the right way to do that either. Like what? Just because he's a
No.
guy? Like no, that's not fair.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I'm like, not to make it about that, but that's what I'm seeing as a gay man. I'm watching this and I'm like, what is the message that you're sending? Like, you're not even confident enough to make someone bi-curious as a gay man, like as a straight man. Like, what is the message that you're trying to send to everyone? Like, to still feel shame, to still not feel like they can like be comfortable. Just mention it in the scene and be like, yeah, like they said they can like maybe be like both ways, but like never pursue it. Instead, go take a cold shower and call it a day. Like,
yeah.
it's
The
like this
fact that
constant
the show-
internalized homophobic, like it feels like internalized homophobia.
The fact
to
that
me.
the show was written by a gay man or like created by a gay man, and one of his worst developed characters is the gay kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm
shows
saying.
you
There's a problem
everything.
there.
It shows you everything. I'm not saying Kevin's a bad person. I'm just saying the way they developed his character over 6 years was so
Yes.
poor compared
agree.
to other like B tier characters like Cheryl and Tony. Like they wrote him so wrong
Agreed.
for 98% of the series. That's anyways,
it's-
that's what we're gonna say for that.
Anyway, that's my soapbox. That's what I'm going to say about that, and I stand by that. Like, anyway, we'll move on. That scene happens. Then it cuts to the Babylonium, and Polly does her burlesque show.
Loved
really
it.
good.
Loved it.
Probably the best part of the entire episode.
Somebody was like, they messaged us and they were like, and how does MB feel about a musical, like a surprise musical in the episode? I was like, no, it wasn't a musical. Like I actually did enjoy it.
The song was fine.
Yeah, I love the way they like edited like, and then they put Betty in there, and it was so cool. Like two sisters like back and forth.
And the song is called Rose's Turn from Gypsy. And I don't know if you know, it's a musical, but essentially it's a story of like a very overbearing mother and how Rose, her daughter.
I figured it was, and I'm like, I'm not going to Google it, whatever.
She basically gives up her entire life. Like the mother gives up her entire life for Rose to be successful. And like now Rose has her moment. Or is it flipped? I don't remember who's who. But anyway, she finally has her moment. Yeah. And it cuts between Polly, Betty, and then Alice says like the mom part basically like my kids are like leaving me, like whatever. And in that whole sequence, Penelope also finds the painting in the chapel. So we have this little like insert moment.
Insert.
Okay, cool. I forgot it happened. I was like, where did it happen?
Cover your art, girl.
You can't just assume that no one's gonna go in there. Like, what are you talking about? Like, just put it in the like. Anyway, again, like, it just, I didn't get it. Go back to put it in your room. Like, why are you doing it like still in the chapel,
open and exposed? Like, do better, Cheryl.
Do better, Cheryl. So whatever. After the show, Polly puts on a great show. Polly says to Betty, I hope that you find that thing that you love and promise me that you'll do it no matter what anyone says. And Betty's like, I will. Don't worry, Polly. I'm going to become a hooker just like you. She's not a hooker, and like, shout out to hookers, whatever. It's all good. So then it cuts to
you, girl.
You do you. Everybody, you do you, girls. Yeah. So then it cuts to Riverdale High, and Archie and Reggie are watching the sunrise. Oh my god, I can't.
Yeah. So again, first of all, Grundy's so fucking annoying because the whole she's like, my husband, me and my husband, I'm like, we get it. You have a husband now. Like, we
you're
get
married.
it.
Like,
You're
you're not
married.
gonna
Like,
try to fuck one of
cool.
your kids, students. Yeah, we get it.
And like in the last poetry session, she was like, have you ever seen a sunrise? What is this bitch getting at? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, and she's like, staying up all night, sipping on coffee, and like, I'm like, this is getting so effing weird. She's like, me and my husband do it once a month. I'm like, okay, did I need to know the schedule and like when you do it? Like, it was getting so
every
weird.
new moon. Yeah.
So of course, after this like threesome that they have, they're watching the sunrise at school.
Of course. And he's like, wow, this is what it feels like to have like a new experience. This is what she meant. And we're just like, I feel like anything is possible now that we've had sex. Like, I don't know.
It was so dumb.
Archie basically says he loves him, and Reggie says, I love you too.
That was cute. I was like, okay, cute.
Fine.
I still can't get over the fact that these writers literally thought that they were going to make them have a threesome with Twilight Twist.
And
they're like, she nailed it.
She came back.
Like, we got this.
We did it.
This is the only way for Archie. You guys are literally idiots. Not okay. You are not okay.
You are not okay.
You guys are not okay. Like someone tweeted, they're like, bro, you're weird AF at writer RAS.
Oh my god. Dad, that's so funny. Yeah, like, girl, you're weird. Get it together. So then it cuts back to Cheryl, and she goes to this chapel, and of course everything is like destroyed. Then it cuts to Pop's diner, and Cheryl asks Tony.
Her shattered glass was so dramatic. She was like, oh. I'm like, girl, you left everything out in the open.
You left everything out. What did you think was gonna happen, girl? You should be so lucky that freaking Nana didn't come in there and burn the whole fucking house down at that point. So then she goes to Pop's diner. She sees Tony, and she's like, "Do you still have the negatives?" And then she was like, "I want to like show my parents what I got going on." She's going to show them the positives. Yeah. So my assumption is that she's going to post the pictures in the magazine. They're going to go viral or something, or like 1950s viral, and then like whatever. She's like, I'm gay. So then it cuts to the Cooper residence. Alice and Betty talk. And Betty
went in hard. Betty went in hard.
She went in deep and
like,
wanted,
not to say that anyone deserves that smack attack, but like she went in hard.
I feel like she wanted her to like fucking punch her at that point.
Yeah.
She basically says, like, when are you going to stop sabotaging her family? She like made a lot of really good points. She was like,
she did.
You had all these opportunities. Like, this was our one opportunity to be a family again. Like, you just blew it because you have like this hang up with fucking Polly. Like, get over yourself. She's like, the second I leave this town, I'm gonna leave and I'm never gonna turn around. And Alice is like, fine, go. Like, she's basically acting like a child. And Betty's like,
yeah, I'll go and I'll be a hooker and a stripper.
She's like, I'll take all my clothes off. She's like, I'll do one more than that. Yeah. I'll take off all of my clothes, and you can't stop me. And then it's literally like a slow motion, like, ooh, good acting. And like, scene. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Even Alice was like, oh my god. Like,
yeah, she was gagged. Like, she gagged herself when she slapped her.
And then she says of all lines, and it goes on Betty's face, and she's like,
she smiles kind of.
She's like, took you long enough.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took you this long to do that.
Are you dumb? Are you okay?
You're about to get 6 feet under, girl. Like, she's about to murder your ass.
Oh my god.
Holy, if I ever said that to my mom, I would be dead. I would literally be.
Imagine if your mom hit you and you're like, what took you that long?
No,
she'd be like, not long. She give you another one.
Yeah, just over. Holy, these white kids get away with everything. Anyway, so then it cuts to
Pembroke.
The Pembroke. So
random. I was like, oh, I thought the episode was going to be done.
Like, it should have finished there, because why the fuck did this scene even exist in this universe? Like, why? Like, I actually have a question about that. Anyway, whatever. They get to the Pembroke. Jughead basically says to Veronica, oh my god, it didn't work. If we don't follow the code, we'll never be printed. And then Veronica's like, but alas, here we are again.
She kept saying, she's like, here we are.
Again.
He's like, yeah, you just said that. He's like, you said here we are. She's like, I know, because like I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what to say. It's like we have another minute in the episode. She's like, I gotta say
this 3 more times over.
He's like, here we are. I was like,
again,
guys, can you say something?
You know what I was gonna, because it felt so awkward.
Oh my god.
And it felt like a literal repeat of what happened. Do you think that we're seeing this on purpose? Like, is this a part of Tabitha's tying up loose ends shit? Like,
God,
are we supposed to like look back on the final episode and be like, you know, when you guys got together again, it was because we were repeating it again because it was like the Matrix. You know what I mean? Like in the Matrix where like it like glitches and like does the thing over and over again.
Did this scene replicate the original time when they kissed?
It almost looked exactly the same. Like they were on the same couch.
I know,
like
but
the fireplace shot.
It's always like that at Veronica's.
Always on the couch.
Okay, but what did you think? What did you think with this moment?
Like about Veronica coming back at like 3 episodes before it ends?
Yeah.
No, it's a no for me, dog. Like
me too. I didn't feel it.
Not that I am like over it, but I'm over it. I am over it, actually.
No, you are over it.
I am.
Like
I don't care for it.
That first time when it happened, like I was hype. I was like, oh my god, I'm loving
this. Whoa,
like, this
time around, it's like
they killed it like so fast before we could get excited, and then it just fizzled. And then like she's had all these other interactions, so we've forgotten about it. To bring it back now, I'm like, no.
And like Jughead literally had like a narration over like they're breaking up. He was like, and just like that, the lonely boy and the like business girl, like it was this dramatic like ending to their relationship, and we were all like, oh my god, that was so stupid. Like, why did it even start? Even back then, but even now, I'm just like, y'all, we literally already did this. Why the fuck are we here again? And also like it just feels even more out of place because in that middle time of like us arguing like, oh, Jughead, like who should he be with, whatever, a lot of our fans are like, he was very asexual in the comics, like he wasn't like relationship connected to anybody. And the more and more, even in the scene when I was watching them, I was like, I wish he was just asexual. I wish he like didn't have any desires. Like why does he have to have a kiss with anybody? Like it doesn't matter. Like why does she like, is she just like
but that's
lustful,
the thing,
she just wants to bang everybody? Like
I do think there's an attraction there, and when they first explored it, we were down for it because we could understand like intellectually, like they were on the same level. We were buying all of that, and there was that chemistry 100%. But when you completely keep 2 characters away for like the last like 8-9 episodes, non-existent, there's not even a conversation, not even a phone call to be like, hey, how are you doing, I need your help, nothing. You can't just bring this back like this. You can't bring it back like this and expect everyone to be like, oh my god, we love them again. No,
it doesn't work like that. I'm just not into it at this point. Like
it's done.
Do not care.
No,
we're done here.
And
that's the end of the episode. That's like, what am I supposed to? Like, that's the thing. Like, were they supposed to? Like, did they think? Did the writers literally be like, they're gonna fucking love this? That Veronica drop at the end of this episode, they're gonna fucking love it.
They were like this. They're like, guys, oh my god, guys,
guess what's gonna happen next?
With Twilight twist, and then because we love our fans so much, at the end, we're gonna do Veronica.
Like, what?
And they were like, yes. No.
I would have been more surprised. I would have been more excited if it was fucking a Bughead. Just bring them together at this point. Literally. Just get those guys to fuck. Like, why are we watching this? I'm so sad. I'm just so sad.
So many good tweets last night, guys, and everyone was like, why do we even have faith? Like, they always fuck it up. So why do we have faith? And I think I said to someone, I'm like, guys, just go into it with no expectations. Just get ready. Like, don't hype yourself up.
My expectations are like below the submarine.
No, yeah.
Like mine is like down where the Titanic is. Like
Titanic,
I just don't. My expectations are so low. There's no way.
They were so good for so long. Like, this season was really good, and that's why I kept like vouching for them. And now I'm like, no.
It just never led to anything. This is just what is this nonsense? Like,
okay, fine. Let's do it.
Recap roundups.
Best moment.
What was your best moment?
My best moment is gonna go to the burlesque moment. I thought it was so entertaining. I loved the way they filmed it. I love that it was all the girlies in one room. I love how like it was like Betty and then Polly and then Betty. Polly, loved it. So entertaining.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch. My best moment's gonna go to Reggie and Archie having that gay movie moment. Yeah. Like I thought, like just the comedic timing of it all was really, really, really funny.
Yeah.
WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
Oh my god, my WTF moment, like the whole fucking episode. But it was probably Veronica, because I literally was not expecting it.
Totally blindsided.
Totally blindsided. Like I thought we were done with this. Like yeah.
My WTF moment is gonna go to the other WTF moment of the many WTF moments, but like Reggie and Archie going to see Twyla. I was like, really, guys, really, ridiculous. Y'all had to do this shit.
It's I don't think they can come back from that. People were really upset. People were grossed out and they were upset because they're like
that's the thing. Like, do they want to just tank the show? Like, then why are you guys doing this to us? Like, we're out here fucking recording this goddamn podcast for you guys. God damn it.
They could have done so many things. Like you said, they could have done a circle jerk. Like, honestly, I think people would have been okay with that. Like, but this was like, no. Especially when Archie went and saved Kevin from Twyla.
That's what I'm saying. It just goes against everything that we know Archie to be in this world. Like, in this world, we like loved him because he was like, oh, he's such a kid. He's so innocent. He's like doing his thing. And he's like, I'm going to be different and weird and I'm going to go talk to a hooker.
Do you think, sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. Do you think, like, even though Grundy's not physically doing anything to him, it's almost like she's influencing the sexual part of him too. Like, in a weird way, like what she is saying and doing is like making him go to do these things.
I mean, for this part, probably, yeah. For this part, but before that, it was Betty. So, like, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, to the point of like what I was saying, it was like, do they have to hold the camera on both of them, like looking at each other the way that they have been? No. Like, that's where we get those weird vibes from. I don't know if it's necessarily like him being influenced by her more than it's like just weird camera shots. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you might have something there, like, and I don't know. Is that a part of the echo?
Then again,
like,
why are you playing with that? Leave it alone.
Why?
Guys.
Leave it. We dropped it. Just drop it.
It's done. Grundy, this storyline is done.
Whatever, man. I don't know.
MVP.
MVP.
I didn't have one. Woo! I didn't have one. This episode was so bad. I did not have one. Like, of course, like, of course, Betty, but like, I didn't want to give it to anyone, honestly, because it was so bad.
Everywhere, I don't have one. It's a no for me. No, it's an X. Oh man, yeah, my MVP is Betty, just because like she got him on a slapper, so at least she felt something. Because I didn't feel nothing in this episode. LVP. Who's your LVP?
I'm gonna say the writers.
Yeah.
For ruining probably the last part of the season.
Yeah.
Ruining this episode. Ruining Archie's first experience. And Reggie's first experience. They really done fucked up.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to know.
I want to know what they think. Like, I really want to know. RS is like, okay, guys, we're going to, we have an idea. It's going to be Twyla threesome. Okay, great. Yeah, let's do that. What part of you guys in your 7 years of writing this show made you ever think that anyone was going to be laughing and okay with this?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even funny. It's not funny.
It's not funny. Like, that's the thing. They didn't even make, like, whatever, bro. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The answer was really right in front of them. And they went the complete opposite direction.
Or don't do it at all. Like, go there, like, take it there, and then Archie's like, nah, I'm not gonna do this.
I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna drink off in my room.
Yeah, like
fuck.
That would have been more funny than what actually happened.
Weird fucking show, man. What a weird show. Weird.
It made me feel weird after, because it really felt like, and I don't want to say this, but like, it did just feel like they were really like hypersexualizing these teens. Like, in a really, like, very, like intense way.
Inappropriate way.
And they've done it all season, but we laugh. We're like, yeah, this ship, that ship. It kind of just flowed. But this one felt really, like,
because they're involving adults into these storylines. And that's when it gets a little sticky, right?
Yeah.
Like, and to your point, and to everybody's point, I'm sure, it's like, you did this with one adult, with the Grunns. You guys like undid that, or you tried to undo it by giving her a new story, and then you did it like with another adult. Like,
do you think they would ever give this storyline to Betty and Veronica? They go to a gigolo and lose their virginity. Never. They would never have done that.
Never. No, exactly. It just doesn't make any freaking sense.
Ridiculous. It's weird.
And like to the point like that we keep saying about this show, like going like the finale being like this shitty episode, whatever. Like I'm just at this point assuming it's just gonna be a shitty episode and a shitty ending to the show. But I'm just sad because like it never got this shitty this early on, like in the finales. Like, you know what I mean? Like we had like
but it was like a dumpster fire all season. At least this one was like good for most of it.
That's a good point. Yeah, for sure. We had a few good episodes and then it just kept going downhill from there. But anyway, I just wish that it was different. My LVP is going to go to Alice because like she still didn't redeem herself for me. She still sucks. Like whatever. Like Mitch Dynamic has a great voice. That's all I really know.
The best line.
Best line was Betty to Alice when she was like, I'm surprised it took you this long to do that.
Yeah,
it was a great line.
Great line, great delivery.
Yeah.
My best line is gonna go to Archie saying maybe there's an in-between, like a little wiggle room to explore, because I wanted them to wiggle into each other's pants.
Wiggle.
They just didn't.
Wiggle a jiggle.
Okay. Listen to roundups. I have CHONI 5 on it here. Best moment, the CHONI stuff. Wish it was longer, not gonna lie. They're absolute freaks, but in a good way. Their story seems to be straight out of a fanfic. LOL. WTF, Reggie and Archie watching gay porn, participating in a threesome, Betty doing porn, Alice slapping Betty, and Veronica. I think that's it from CHONI 5 on it, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Tiff C83 says best moment, Betty's burlesque fever dream, but even in fantasies Archie never sees Betty sexy. Have you all noticed that? Even the window striptease was more covered up than Veronica's witch Halloween costume. Oh, interesting. And I didn't really look at it that way either. WTF moment, Archie, Reggie, and Twyla. I'd be fine if they didn't feel the need to add a hetero element to the boys' love story by adding an older woman and making it weird, but I guess it's their way of exploring the beatnik lifestyle. Shrug. Yeah, I mean, you said it in a very, very nice way. I was very upset about it. MVP Polly, I love a confident queen living her best life. That's true. Polly is the MVP.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Her best free life outside of a cult. That's true.
Yeah.
LVP, Penelope destroying Cheryl's art and then taunting her about it in front of Julian at the table. She needs to go back into the wall. Oh my God, do you remember those days? Best line. I'm surprised it took you so long to do that, from Betty to Alice after the slap. Heard around the multiverse. I love that. So good.
We have at Sierra N. Again, this was an episode full of just nothingness. Like nothing happened that is substantial. Even CHONI, who this season has been the only thing keeping it all together, had a whole lot of nothing to do. Best moment, I'd say the convo Archie and Reggie had about experimenting and beatnik, but then it led to them having a threesome with an overage woman. Yet again, taking Archie's virginity to an older woman in power. So honestly, I'd say the moments between Betty and Polly, because this is the best Polly we've seen, and I wish we had her like this before and not some whack-ass cult member running from fake aliens. WTF moment, I have so many. I'm not going to read them all, but I'll say the threesome between Archie, Reggie, and Twyla. The Veronica kiss at the end, as they had one conversation between the last time they had a thing and the start of this episode. The slap.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Like, I'm really worried about taking this dynamic between Alice and Betty to a physical level. I just don't know again where it's going to go and how Alice will come back from this should they ever end the series in the future. Yeah, there's just not enough time, I feel
there's not enough time.
Yeah. The fact that they had the golden opportunity to throw Archie and Reggie together in more than a platonic way and just didn't was what the F to me. Like, I know they are friends, but they did the same with Veronica, so I don't see why Archie and Reggie couldn't have had the same. That's true, actually.
True.
And I was actually getting the vibes that they would, and they just didn't. MVP, literally no one was exciting enough to be MVP, so I'ma say Ashley Murray, because she's coming back next week to save the show, maybe. That's LVP, so Grundy, get her off my screen. I do not need to see her be redeemed. Twyla, Alice, the old white men brigade. Best line.
Best line.
Credits.
I'm surprised it took you so long to do that.
The credits.
Oh my God. Stop. That's hilarious. Best line, the ending of the show.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. I would like to take this time to thank, or is that it? Do we have any more?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you to everyone who always writes in. We always appreciate it. We
it.
always love reading them. I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, our Rewinder Squad, White, Cliff, Hannah, Julia, and Haley, our Lit Rewinders, Tina Ann, and Kate, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you guys. If you'd like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind.
And also make sure you check us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and comment to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening. Bye.